Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome.
Good evening.
I see some people in the chat already. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're going to start right now, as we started a bit earlier today. And today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and how it changes art, graphics, and design spheres. We tried to make this lecture as easy to understand as possible. So we hope it will be both useful for beginners and maybe some professionals. Maybe it can give you some food to thought or like some points to think and discuss. So let's just head right into it. My name is Daria. I'm trend analyst at Phygital Plus, and today I'm here with my two colleagues, guys, Sergey, Olga.
Hi, everyone. We are very glad to have this lecture in English for our English-speaking community. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments of the stream. We will answer them after the lecture.
Yes, thank you. And in brief about us, if you have just come to not know who we are creating a Phygital Plus product. It is a node-based tool for working with neural networks. And basically, we have been on the markets for 7 years. We have realized more than 100 projects in AR, VR, AI spheres. So we have much experience of implementing such difficult technologies into different industries. And we want to share some of these useful insights and experience with you. So, and I guess let's just start with AI in art. We plan to cover today such topics as technological influence on visual content, and we want to show how AI evolved over the past years. Also, we want to show you how AI helps in solving graphic and design tasks nowadays. And probably afterwards, we will cover most popular concerns about AI art and how its ethics change nowadays. Basically, our focus is to cover 3 directions, and these spheres are artificial intelligence, computer graphics, and art. These 3 domains, as you can see, they always interconnect between each other, and over time, they begin to create a new sphere called AI-powered content creation. And if we step back and think about it, our world is filled with technologies, but only a small part of our population has actually enough skills to create and develop these technologies. Only 0.5% of population knows how to code, and that's a very small part of it, of course. However, more than 90% of people think that technologies open up new world of creation, and most information which we consume and try to remember is visual. That's why companies and designers and design studios pay much attention to creating visual content. And of course, their aim is to make it as easy to understand and remember as possible. And in art, the whole creation process is also connected with embodying ideas and concepts in physical or digital form. And therefore, of course, AI can help in this process and make it more unique and more user-friendly. Adobe, in their research, asked creative professionals how AI impacted their work. And it turned out that almost 90% of professionals are interested in AI, and more than 95% actually think that potential and importance of AI is going to increase in the future. So we can see that more than half of the work which creators do is spent on uncreative and tedious tasks. And of course, this work can be automated by AI. And with another research from Adobe, we can see that during the pandemic, people actually, despite the global restrictions of movements, they still feel more creative than ever. There is a huge need for artificial intelligence in graphics, design, and art, and it is already being developed. Here you can see only some of the tasks that can be fully or partially be done by AI, and the number of these solutions only grow. Of course, in our articles and in other social media companies, we can see that all of them try to talk about use cases in details, like how you can create beautiful illustrations with DALI, or how you can use artificial intelligence in game development. But all of these solutions can be a bit overwhelming because there are too many of them. And in order to make it as easy as possible to remember and to use, we actually collected all available tools for AI-powered content creation in our AI library. It has all the information you might need if you want to create something particular, or you just want to find some tools which you can use to create beautiful images. It has all you need from semantic search and filters, so it is available to anyone, and we encourage you to try it and use it anytime if you want. Of course, our main goal is to look at AI evolution nowadays, because if we try to analyze it from the quality point of view and from which result we will get after using it, we will see that text and image models already give great and high quality result both for professional and personal projects. Text generation models actually right now are integrated into many software for journalists, copywriters, or project managers, and therefore they have already many practical implications and implementations from articles to writing project descriptions. Of course, some questions here may rise about whether AI will actually replace us, or eventually if all the work will be done by AI, but we will talk about this question a little bit later. AI is already capable of creating stunning visuals for images, and it can be used in many industries and businesses already. And we enter the new stage where video and 3D is going to be soon created by AI, but not only by AI, but in collaboration with human. The reason why we think AI videos and 3D are going to be a thing is if we can look at how AI evolved over past years, we can see that in 7 years, image generation rose from very low quality with many artifacts. It evolved into high detailed realistic images. And creating images from text has also been revolutionary. Within 14 months, we can see that neural networks has learned to create almost perfectly matching images in higher resolution. And it is of course connected with hardware development. It is of course connected with overall pace of technology development. But here in our lecture, we want to focus on the accuracy and the image quality, because that's exactly what makes these solutions perfect for businesses and for projects and for anything you want to try to use it for. It took 7 years to get photorealistic images with AI, and less than 14 months to create matching visuals from text. And the pace of AI development accelerates, and that's why we think that in the future we will see more big steps towards useful and precise AI assistant and generations. Now let's look at the main tasks in which AI can help creators already now. So we will start with image creation. I'm not sure if all of us are familiar with how neural networks work, so I just give a brief explanation. Basically, how neural networks work, you give them some data, it can be a group of images, the machine processes it, analyzes, and then give us the result. So here you can see that StyleGAN is the neural network which is presented on the right images. It is the result of giving neural network images of dogs, cats, wild animals, and faces. Basically, neural network has learned to create these creatures, and we can see that the results are almost photorealistic. I guess neither of us could really tell if it is AI or human-made photo if we just took a first glance at it. And I guess I should mention that artifacts are sort of distortions in images. Here you can see, if we take a look at how images looked at the 2014, we can see that there are many weird eyes or maybe some unwanted features on these faces, and that's called artifacts, all right? And so if we look at what we have right now, we can see that it is basically almost like photos. And as the result is pretty of high quality, you can already use it for businesses. Like you can try to generate presentations or websites with these photos. You can sort of replace stock images, and it is actually quite more accessible and can be cheaper than buying a stock image. One of the interesting implications of neural networks is actually trying to train it on particular artists' or designers' work. After training, neural network will be able to replicate color, shape, style, form, any sort of specific features that this artist has. And as long as it is able to replicate the style and the form, it can become a new tool for inspiration, because it can become a sort of endless source for a new experiment. It can try to generate new concept where artists wouldn't be able to look at it from the particular angle. I guess I just explain it with an example. As you can see, the picture on the top is a work of a great artist called Tanya Plachova. You may know her as an owner of Complexity Graphics website. It is her work. It has particular features such as its style with lines, circles, and shapes. It is pretty glowy, and we trained a style gun model on her images, and AI could successfully replicate her style in various colors and various forms. And on the picture on the bottom, you can see the result of the generation.
Yeah, very sorry, guys. Yeah, just let us check what happened. I think uh, Daria has problems with her connection. She will be here in a second. Yes, it's good. Yes. Hey guys, can you hear me? Is it okay? Can you hear me? Sergey. Okay, guys, could you just okay, yeah, some people hear us. Okay. Yeah, so the sound works. Okay, great. Thank you, Lena. Okay. Um, just we're very sorry. Let's wait for a bit for Daria, and if she will continue to have her problems, we will just go to Sergey's part, I guess. Okay, we have Daria is back.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my internet connection decided to
No
to
problem.
break.
We miss you. We hear you well. So, Dasha, are you able to continue your presentation?
Yes, I am, but if Sergey doesn't have the output, maybe he will not be able to speak.
Could
Okay.
you turn on the video, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Just a
perfect.
moment. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Yep. I'm very sorry. Everything happens in unexpected moments. Yep. So I see the question in the chat, with which software these images were created, I can just answer right along. It is created with StyleGAN neural network. You can actually try it out if you go to our AI library. There is like the first card you can press on, and there will be a collab which you can use. It is somehow not user friendly, but still you will be able to create images in these styles and even videos. There are some unique data sets. If you go here like you can choose complexity graphics, and this is the style, the artist about whom I just talked. So yeah, you can go to our library and check it out if you want to. Yeah. So I'm not sure where I have been cut off, so I guess I just continue from where I think I should. We stopped that you can give neural network some particular artist or designer works, and it can recreate the looks of it. And you can make it basically as prints, as wallpapers, or just use it however you want in your projects. If, for instance, you need a good background for your presentation, you can also use it there. So, moreover, with neural networks, you can actually try to recreate specific objects and categories. So, as long as you're able to give a neural network a substantial amount of images of particular objects, for instance, like houses, neural network can learn how these objects look and then recreate them. And one of the great features that neural network also have is that when we give them a large amount of similar looking objects, but which have different features, like for instance, if we take houses, they can be of different color with different number of maybe flats or windows. All of these features can be understood by neural network. Neural network can identify them. It assigns them a particular parameter, and then we can actually manipulate the process of generation. So if it is easier to understand, let's just take a look at the below picture with CloneX avatar. It is actually a neural network generation, which was trained on NFT collection. And we generated this avatar. The model was trained on a huge number of pictures, of course, and because there are only several features of a human face which you can actually try to manipulate, such like hair color, eye color, clothes, or emotion. With all these features, we can actually manipulate our generation. If I want to create, let's say, a lady with black eyes and with black hair, I can actually do it with neural network because neural networks are super smart. And all of this is available in our library. You can go there and try it out. And by changing parameters, you can actually get the perfect matched result. That's why many people talk about which parameters did you use in this generation, because it actually matters, you know. What is also interesting that we can try to modify the result by adding some additional text. If we want to change the color or the composition of generated image, we can try adding a particular text and it will change the composition and how the final image looks. Here we try to recreate green moss with complexity graphic styles, and we can see that it doesn't make like a huge difference in how the image look, but still you can see different particular elements there. And here are the example of more, let's say, more difficult maybe in some way prompts. You can see it doesn't affect that much because it is the model which is trained to generate images from images. It doesn't affect that much, but still text can make a difference. Of course, here I guess one of the most interesting and groundbreaking models are text-to-image models. And I think all of us have heard of DALL-E, all of us have heard of Imagen. All of these neural networks are so buzzy and they're worth talking about just because they give the most outstanding and ready-to-use results. And I want to point out that here I just talked about images that were generated from models which was trained on very small data set. Like complexity graphics was trained on 2000 pictures of particular style. But when we talk about text-to-image models such as DALL-E, Imagen, Parity, all of this disco diffusion as well, all of them are trained on a higher number of images, like billions, millions of images, and that's why they can replicate basically any object or any historical event or like any cultural direction, maybe some art movement. It has this sort of history of the humanity in some way, and that's why it can recreate almost anything you can imagine. And one of the cool thing about text to image models is that you can actually try to combine several categories. Let's say we want to generate a robot couple which is having a dinner at Paris at Eiffel Tower. Of course, we cannot find the photo like that, right? But with neural networks, we can actually try to generate it. There are pictures of robots, of course, there are. There are as well some images of how couple look like when they try to make a photo at Eiffel Tower. And AI also knows how the Paris looks like and what the weather usually is there. And by combining all these categories, it can morph them together and create something new and unique. And in this uniqueness, we can find the most wonderful use cases. And I think the main value of these neural networks is actually not that they can create images from text, it is their feature, of course, but the main value, I think, is that they let creative professionals be more creative and they let them visualize ideas without spending days or weeks at prototyping. So I guess everyone at some point had this sort of weird situation when you have an idea, you start putting your thought in it, you start putting like hours in it, you spend 2 or 3 days on trying to prototype it or like draw a first prototype. But after spending so much hours, you can see that this idea doesn't spark you anymore. You see that this is something that you weren't looking for, and eventually that you spend so much time creating something that doesn't inspire you and that's completely useless. And in that way, AI helps you to minimize this risk. It helps you to visualize ideas in minutes and saves you so much time that you can spend visualizing and working on something that is really worth pursuing. And it means that AI is not going to replace you, it's just going to enhance your creative abilities. Because most designers, artists, and creative professionals, they have this empirical, somehow intuitive ability to understand whether the idea is worth pursuing before it is fully done, right? And with such tools as DALI, creators won't have to spend much time on prototyping because they can understand faster if the idea is worth it or not. From the practical point of view, you can see that text to image models have a great potential because of their results. Probably you have seen successful use cases such as Cosmopolitan magazine cover, which was generated in DALI 2. Some people start experimenting with creating icons with AI, and some people already made storyboards in DALI Mini. So it is a great tool already, which people put to practice and which gives already good results. These tools can also boost your creativity. And let's say you need to brainstorm ideas for your logos or brand identity elements. You can use it just however you want in however way. And also, you can try to create even characters with it. Probably Disco Diffusion is not the best model which we want to talk about because it is a bit worse than DALI 2 or Midjourney, but still it makes possible to generate any characters in any style. If you want illustration, you can get illustration. If you want to create image in the style of Leonardo da Vinci, you can easily do it. It gives you so much space for creativity, and you can try to generate concepts for any character, for any illustration you want. But as well, don't forget it's just a beautiful image, right? You can just use it for any landscape you want. If you want a new painting in your bedroom, or if you want a new cool wallpapers, you can just create it in Disco Diffusion or Midjourney. And the great thing is that it is all available to everyone. Anyone can become a creator for their own use purpose project for anything. I'm not a creator myself. I just started creating with AI, and all these images I created myself using Midjourney, which is available in Discord. I just spent not more than 5 minutes, and I got pretty good looking pictures, I would say. And with your imagination and AI, you can become more creative. And if you wonder what you can use, which tools you try to maybe choose from, we can actually help you with that, because in our library you can actually uh, find anything you want by putting in the input text and output image. You will see how many tools you can actually try. Yeah, my internet connection today has some problems. You cannot see pictures, but there are problems. Um, so text to image models are great, and I'm not sure if Sergey wants to take the word from here and talk about them a little bit more.
Okay. Now, are you hear me? Because I see some settings that I doesn't make great, and now I see people can hear me. So let's start. And I say about me. My English not so good. Sorry, but I have some imagination and I have some words to say to you. Let's start. Uh, okay. It's good. You hear me? Yeah, and it's great news. Let's start. Hello, everyone. My name is Sergey Pirogov. I'm a researcher in AI art, also known as artist monkey in law. And today we talk about some types of neural networks and specific neural networks. Maybe when I say GANs, uh, it's more basic naming, and you have some style gun, big gun. When I say diffusion plus clip, you have maybe disk diffusion or guided diffusion, and I say about all of them, all of this. Okay, let's start. What is guns? Oh, okay. I say some words. Guns can you can make on your computer because it's small data sets, because it's small GPU usage. You can make quick result. You can make video or photo. It's your output. Vokugan plus clip, text to image. When you type some text and you have a result. It's abstract, and you also have video or photo output. Diffusion plus clip. It's is new algorithm that allows you to restore an image from specific noise, and when connected to clip, it's another neural network. It allows you to get a variety of art, pictures, photos. It's much slower than style gun because it's more powerful. Uh, it's need more GPU hours, so problematic. We have problematic in this. So uh, let's let's see. Let's talk about spaces. Spaces for creating images. And now big spaces. It's Discord bots because many neural networks in Discord bots. Some of this in Telegram bots and Google Colab. And I say, what is Google Colab? It's what type of neural networks in Google Colab. Disco Diffusion, Style Guns, Vokugan plus Clip as a GitHub open source project. When you can make some code, Google Colab it's really wonderful space for you. If you artist who can't code, Telegram bots, Discord bots, sites, Hugging Face, it's more user friendly. Telegram bots just text and save. Rudali, maybe Dali Mini, it's type of neural networks. Sites, it's Dali 2, maybe Dali Mini Crayon, and another. Night Cafe, if you hear about Night Cafe, and its user side too. Hugging Face, it's demo for new neural networks. You can find many interesting neural networks and then decide whether to add them to the list of your design tools. Or maybe you go to Google Colab and make some big resolution results. So let's go and types of text to image models. I type some pluses and some minus of Disco Diffusion, Midjourney, and DALL-E 2. Pluses for this, it's Collab, it's space. About space, you have 2D and 3D animations, and maybe you see in internet this video when some abstract structures going, and it's so good for animation, for video editing. It's new way to see our world. So what it does, it's you can how it say, when you have an image or video, you can make some transform of this image in output. It's flexible. You can make some another methods for your code and make it more huge, more powerful, and it's free. It's about what you only cost for GPU. You you paid for GPU hours only. Midjourney, it's Discord board. It's a quick result, because when you make generation disk diffusion, maybe 1 hour it's good result, 2 hours. When you make video input, it's about maybe 1 or 2 days of generation, and it's really many time. Midjourney doesn't make some animation, but you have quick result of your text. You can type your text and you have image about 20 seconds. So it's user friendly and it's paid. You can see paid in his site. DALL-E 2, it's beta testing, so you need access to DALL-E 2. Its site, quick result. Maybe you have 4 images. Yes, 4 images. Midjourney, you have 4 images too, but in DALL-E 2 you have 4 images in high resolution. It's I can say 1024 on 1024 pixels. So it's good. It have variations and it have in painting. You can download your image, and in some in painting methods can create you dog, some hat, some red hat, or maybe something more difficult, and it's paid. Let's go to the next, and it's Rudali. It's like DALL-E 1 architecture. It's Wokugan plus Ruklib. It's Discord bot or Telegram bot or Collab version. All places in this Rudali. So it's interesting, unique datasets trained on RuNet images. And when you see some results, you can see some results. And another stable diffusion is Discord bot alpha test. Not many people have access to this. This is quick result. It's user friendly because you have only text, and it's generate your images, and it's free. And more memes and more funny neural networks on the internet. It's DALL-E Mini. It's Discord bot on my site. A special effect is achieved with screenshots, where we have 9 images and text. Creates brain trick when you see some images and you you see text, it's working, it's some magic, and it's so funny because text and images in one photo. So okay, let's go prompt secrets. I say about something new for you maybe. For super image reproduction, we need to grow the cherry tree. What's this cherry tree? And it's how we make images with text constructions. Let's try to make a photo effect in Midjourney. Problematic. In ordinary life, long exposure photos are taken on a tripod and are quite demanding. It's really hard to make these images in real life because it's you need so many skills to make this. And so for experiments, we can choose Midjourney. We can replicate these images and see what it can make. In general, Midjourney doesn't handle shutter speeds well. Mention of the word shutter or shutter speed seems to cause motion blur, but in research from GitHub Genesis about shutter speed, we learn how to achieve this effect in Midjourney. So you can see some pictures of Polaroid photo style, and when we have shutter speed, it's how long light go from matrix. Maybe it's it's too difficult, but when you photograph, you can achieve your skills with neural networks. So let's go to another prompt secrets about color palette, about shapes, about frame of. And you can see some frames of Wes Anderson style video, and I transform image from DALL-E 2 and make some text construction that say Wes Anderson color palette. And now we can see.
Is everything okay?
Oh,
do I again have problems with connection?
With connection? Oh.
Yes, I can hear you well. Everything is fine. Okay, is fine.
Okay. So maybe some now some images can disappear. So let's wait something. Wait some results. Daria, you can hear. We can lose our images. So let's wait some time. Now maybe it's good. Oh, and it.
Yeah, I think just Daria continues to have some troubles with her connection. No problem, guys. Yeah, I think Sergey, you just should continue with presentation.
Okay. We have Daria. So
yeah,
sorry for this.
I'm extremely sorry. I'm not sure what happens today with my internet connection.
yeah. You see from secrets. It's a good text.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue.
Okay.
Oh, maybe.
This
yeah.
one?
Okay. And some images are still of and name of film that give you magic result when you can put object in any film. What sorry about this. Let's go to another image. It's okay because we have some I have some problems with English now, but it's okay because what I can say to you, it's working without language, it's working on visual context, so it's good. Let's continue. So about shapes, yeah, you can see it's a cow in shape of pineapple, it's cat in shape of banana, it's lion in shape of orange. So we can make some images that doesn't exist, but we can put some text construction, and when we combine this, it's give a wonderful result. So let's go to photo reference. It's last time because it's some it's a good case. because creating reference photo for photographers, it's so many time you need this. And long story short, we have a photo club in the city where we meet and go to take some interesting photos to learn something new. So this is an example how DALL-E 2 can help you with this idea, a model in water with low light in sun. And when I type this text, you can see a model, you can see light reflection on water. It's so good because you can see maybe background light, maybe this ice, and it's so good. And we, with my team, normally I would go to look into reference on mood boards, maybe maybe Pinterest, maybe some another site. But now I use DALL-E 2 for some creativity. So result on right section, it real photo, which we took in our photo club. So it's really powerful instrument, not only for art, for photo and another creations. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. I wanted just to add something very quick. So basically, what you hear from Sergey recently, it's all called prompt engineering, right? So you can play with different prompts, text prompts, to generate the result that you need for very different tasks. And the prompt engineering, the ability to understand what type of words in which combination, in which sequence should be given to neural network to generate the result that you specifically want, is actually an art itself, right? So I sent a link to AI library in the comments to this stream, and there you can see all different types of neural networks that we collected all in one place. You can filter them, you can explore them, and what is most important, we also collected all different types of prompt hints, how to generate prompts and how to use modifiers, because these text specifications take called modifiers, right? So trending on our station, 3D, 4K, and etc. These are all different types of words that you can use to basically achieve the result that you want. So please explore it because it's very interesting. It takes time, it takes patience and fantasy definitely to generate the result that you want, but you will not be disappointed. And I give the word to Daria. Thank you, Sergey, very much.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And let's continue with more implementations of neural networks. And some developers already focus on specific tasks, such as, for instance, generating clothes on human models. And of course, it can be useful for both fashion designers or just in general, maybe like game designers who need some new inspiration and ideas for their character, outfit, maybe. And of course, potentially any of us could actually try to use these tools because they can upload a photo and add new clothes and to modify our already existing photos. And all the thing you need is just your idea from text and your image. And another, probably one of the most powerful spheres in which AI is used right now is enhancing photos and videos. It is powerful because it can be helpful to anyone. Probably all of us have some maybe old and maybe not so good quality photos which we would try to use, but we cannot because their quality doesn't fit our requirements. And with neural networks, you can actually increase resolution, you can upscale it to whatever radio you need. You can try to remove noise or change the light on the photo or video. And many websites allow to do it actually for free. And the full list of it is available also in our library under the tag Enhance. And we try to basically combine both neural networks and AI tools, and many of them are for free. For instance, Hotpot AI. You can see how you can take a very old photo which a bit damaged, but you can still upscale it. You can actually try to remove these damages by removing artifacts, and you can also colorize it. Some solutions like Hotpot AI and our Phygital Plus product also, they are more user-friendly, and it is actually easier right now to create and enhance your image with AI-driven software than probably it is to download Photoshop, because it is all web-based. Also interesting implementation is, of course, trying to transform the content of your image and videos. I guess many of us have seen style transfer. It is one of the most popular probably use cases for neural networks. Basically, you take your photo, you take the style of an image, and you try to morph it together. And right now, you can also do it without style reference photo. You can just do it with your own imagination and text. For instance, if you have your photo, you can type, put it into the sketch mode, and then the image will change into sketch style, such as, for instance, here. And it always opens up so much more creativity and space for exploration, because it is not only useful for probably artists and designers who can use it daily, it is also useful for businesses, because if you look at website catalogs, there are many objects which we try to show there. Like if we are selling sneakers, we need to show them, of course. If we try to sell maybe like cups or mugs, we need photos of them when there is only a cup or a mug on the photo and nothing else. And you can actually remove objects right now pretty quickly just by drawing over it with your mouse. So it is useful. You can always use it however you want. And one of the most interesting use cases I think we want to talk about, because it is not often spoken in AI community and we think it is unfair, is how you can use style transfer for transforming your 3D model. Basically, any 3D model has its texture. This texture, if we put it into the image form, it will look like a little square, right? And if we take this image in format of square, we upload it to style transfer and we try a reference photo, we can easily get a new style UV map. This texture is called UV map when we try to put it on 3D model. So all you need is just take your 3D model, style transfer the texture, and then you will get eventually like a new 3D model under 2 minutes. I'm not a 3D modeler myself, and I am not so good at this geeky stuff about UV layout and so on, but even I managed to create these 3 different looking frogs with style transfer. So I think it's pretty exciting, because you can actually try to experiment even if you do not know much or if you do not have enough skills. You can still do many things with AI. And another probably a bit unusual use case for content makers and influencers, if you have many old photos, you can actually try to reuse them by putting them into text to image model. So here you can see our example. We tried to make new art from our photo of our office. In this code diffusion model, you can add, except the text, you can also include the text, you can also add an image from which neural network will take the composition, the lights, and rough objects. So basically, by adding image and adding text, you can create new art. Here we add a text, palm, tree, and seaside, and you can see how images just transformed by adding 3 words, and our images are now ready to use as wallpapers or maybe font backgrounds, which personally I would use. And previously, we also have talked about how we are entering this new stage of AI development, where soon we will have AI created videos and 3D. And we see already big steps towards it. For instance, right now you can create 3D model of objects from several photos or even text. Many of them are not public yet, and some of them require some a little bit maybe touch up after you create it, but still you can see that already right now you can make a 3D model out of almost nothing. If you have only text in your idea, you can still try to do it. But all of these projects are not available right now. Some of them, though, are, like Avatar Clip. You can create a 3D animated character from your text, and I think it is a great instrument for those who try to maybe quickly visualize some concept or who try to generate some new 3D characters. You can actually just put your idea in and basically get the result if you want. And all of this is available also in our Phygital Plus library. You can just type avatar clip. I'm extremely sorry again for my horrible internet connection, which doesn't load the image, but still, you can try it out and it works great. And this new era of content creation also includes combining several networks. Here, the creator used actually this avatar clip neural network, and the creator also used disco diffusion to create video. So these two models together created this stunning video, which you can actually, I'm not sure if you can guess what is actually shown here, but initially it was Pepe Frog, the popular meme on the internet. So our familiar ideas take a new turn in AI content generation era, and I think it actually opens up only more possibilities for creators. Many people think that when AI art came to our doors, basically, that it is going to replace artists, that there will not be any creators. But we do not think that's the case, actually. We think that this new era includes the concept of intelligence amplification. That means that AI helps in daily work and tasks and not replaces human. Because machines, artificial intelligence, neural networks can actually visualize or analyze content, but it cannot give context. Only human can. AI has this great ability to replicate anything from our history, any object, any cultural movement, but only with human, these creations can actually turn into something new. And AI is only the tool. It is the means to create. It is not the result. People always interpret what they see. They can always try to put this interpretation into text when we write messages. Artists try to replicate what they see in their sculptures, maybe in paintings. Some people try to create digital artwork. But even if it is 99% computer generated, there's still 1% that matters the most. It's the human idea, the concept, and the message. AI can help find these unusual solutions, but unusual solutions are nothing without human. So human AI collaboration it is. We see this new wave of AI art, and it has already been recognized in the international art arena. This video clip was made with AI, and it was already recognized at the festivals and got some awards. And many visionaries and futurists, tech enthusiasts, they actually appreciate and highlight the importance of AI tools in practices. Games already are being made with DALI, and I think that's just a new way of creating. It is not going to replace us. On the other hand, we also see that businesses and companies, artists, they also are more interested in AI art nowadays. In 1 month, we have seen at least like quarter growth of AI offers, which I think also a great example of how AI art gets more noticeable and more practical. Also, DALI is right now available in public beta. You can apply to it. Midjourney has become the most popular Discord server, even surpassing Minecraft and Fortnite, which has always been like the top one. But yeah, even these little steps, they show that that's revolutionary for AI sphere. But nevertheless, people also talk more about AI art. Probably with all this such accessible and buzzy tools such as DALI, Wombo, Artbreeder, or Midjourney, average users start to generate their first images with it, and people start to share it more. And that's how this snowball of creativity comes and becomes even bigger, right? People want to be more creative. They also try to use it not only for their creative purposes, like designers when they try to generate some concept. People start using it for giggles and for fun, right? Like DALL-E Mini, about which Sergey already have told previously, people also confuse it with DALL-E 2 and DALL-E Mini or Crayon. It is actually sort of a mini version of DALL-E 2, which has different goal. Its goal is to make fun, to just create something funny, right? It's not a creative assistant, but still, even this thing can somehow cause explosion of creativity, because it gives you an ability to create something new. Also, Olga already talked about prompt engineering, and of course, it is a skill to master, because many people, when they see AI generated art, they see that like, oh, it's easy, you can just put any text and it will be beautiful. But actually, if you try to generate it yourself, you can see that it is not always the great result. So the person who writes prompts somehow is a genius as well. And there are two practices which are also somehow new in AI generative art community. It is cherry picking, when among all generations that tools create, you pick the best result. And growing cherry tree is when you analyze the result of different prompts and you modify it to get the most beautiful results. For instance, on the right, you can see that people try to generate the forest with just writing the forest. And it looked not so great. Just by adding some different colors or artists, you can see how just from probably like paint like pictures, they turn into great paintings, which you would also want actually to print and put it in your, I don't know, like living room and to sit next to. Here's example of cherry picking. I tried to somehow do AI art myself, and I can see how it can be difficult sometimes. In here, I tried to generate Minas Tirith with Midjourney. I tried the same prompt twice, and among these 8 pictures, I chose the best one and upscaled it. And that's basically how, among all the cherries, I chose the best one and basically made a great picture from it. Of course, all these things which we see right now, all these new materials, new tools which come up, all they appear at the same time, and sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. When artists started to use text-to-image generators, they started collecting all these tips in Google Docs. Then they tried to make Google Sheets from it. Now there is already like white papers, electronic books with like huge guide plus 80 pages with whom you can like generate the best looking picture. Sometimes people even make software to make prompts, not just to generate AI art, but to generate prompts. But all these guides, they highly rely on art materials. All of them describe different design techniques, art directions, maybe historical art movements, and best practices in photography. And it results in AI democratization and art education. When social media appeared, especially like Twitter or Facebook, people started writing more. And they, by doing so, they basically improved their writing skills, right? And the same thing happens today. We see that people are interested in AI art, but in order to make it, we have to spend much time analyzing how we can do it in the best possible way, which art movement will fit our interest, about which image we want to generate. So basically, AI art makes people more educated and more aware of art in general. And that's the great thing, because it makes us better and creative. And one of the most important thing here is that also gives artists and all creators advantage, because all the creative professionals, artists, designers, maybe graphic designers as well, they also have artistic and cultural background. They already know more about art, CG, and design, so they can create outstanding visuals faster and better than like average user. So here you can see a great example how art background can make a difference. On a great article by Meritz Mensch on Medium, I think we can send a link afterwards, this futurist described how they tried to play with prompts in DALL-E, and they tried to make a cat on the bike. And their first input on the left gave not so great results. I mean, like, probably you can use it for some prototypes, but it's not what we expect when you think of the great and mighty DALI, right? And by adding just a little sentence into the prompt by Michael Zova, it is the artist who was known for painting animals in surrealistic way. And just by adding these three words, the result just went from meh to like to the great result, right? You can see on the right that you can take any of these images and they are so great, and you don't even have to somehow modify it in other software. So prompt writing is also an art itself, as Olga said before. And everyone is afraid that AI will somehow, in some way, replace artists. But it is only the next stage of art development, we think. All technological breakthroughs, they somehow went through the stage. Right now we have cameras in our phone, but it doesn't make photographers less useful or less in demand, right? When digital art began to appear, people also debated that it will not be real art, but we still see that there are many digital artists. There is a huge demand for digital illustrations and artworks. So AI is just a new step. It is sort of a new Photoshop for all of us. Neural networks are new paints for artists. It is both accessible for artists and beginners, but it makes artists more creative and it makes us more unique and more valuable because everyone is unique. All of us have different experience, different values, different points of view, and we want to share it with others. And AI just gives us the way of sharing this information, our imagination with others. We can just put our ideas into AI and it will help us create something more unique. Art is not going to die because of AI. It's just going to be more alive than ever, just because everyone can bring to life their most crazy ideas. And finishing our speech here, we want to inspire you to be more creative than ever, because we are in a great stage right now where we can create anything with our ideas, and you don't need anything but your skills to write a text. Basically, you can if you can type, you can create art, but it is art if you make it art, right? Uh, since the beginning of the summer, there are two very things, very not controversial, but like very groundbreaking things appeared, like Style Gun for video and Style Gun for 3D. It is these two neural networks are thought to somehow begin new era of video and 3D AI creation. They are not available yet, but we are waiting for their release. And if you do not want to miss these things out, you can also follow our library Phygital Plus, where we almost daily update our catalog of AI tools and neural networks. There are all useful links there. And soon, many of these tools are going to be available in our Phygital Plus product in our AI lab, about which I think Olga can give you some words and some sentences. Yeah.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Daria. So, yes, we see huge interest and we share this interest and demand for very intuitive AI tools. And as you know, we developed Phygital Plus, the product that has no code, no interface that will allow you to use most of the neural networks that you have seen on the screen today. Uh, and we will try to make sure that any new interesting neural network that appears in open source will be available in our product on the one hand. On the other hand, we develop our own data sets and have a lot of collabs with some famous artists to extend the possibilities of neural networks that will be presented there. And to give slowly the access to the product for some very special alpha testers, we designed this Phygital AI Plus, the Phygital Plus AI Lab. What is that? This is basically the series of events as these open lectures that you attend now, and the very interactive online lab for which we will select 20 artists, maybe a little bit more, because we actually receive very cool applications from all over the world. I will leave the link in the comment of this stream right now. Please fill it if you want to take part in this lab. In this lab, you will hear more practical workshops on how to work with AI. You will try to learn different AI tools and maybe to master the art of prompt engineering, of setting specific settings for art to generate what you need. But what is the most important thing, that you will work with us closely and create your own 3D sculpture based on real painting that will be presented on WebAR platform this September on one annual exhibition in Moscow that will be attended by 15K visitors. This is a very famous event. All these ER works, they will be done with AI tools, and will be owned by creators. We do not share any copyright. This will be basically your probably first, maybe not the first, but your own creation that you've done with using AI tools. We are very happy to be here with you today. We thank you very much. Thank you, Sergey. Thank you, Daria. Thank you to all our listeners who are listening our right now live, and probably will be listening this lecture later, because the record we will send to all emails that you have. Please subscribe to our wait list to be the first one to get all the updates, all the news, and get the access to Phygital Plus. And keep in mind that we collected all available AI tools in our AI library. We will also put the link below our stream. And this is basically one step for you to explore AI tools for creativity, for increasing your productivity, and basically become the artist if you're not already, or increase your imagination skills. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Hope you all have a great evening, day, whatever you have, and we hope to see you in our Discord, in the comments.
Yeah, join our Discord. We share there some tips and tricks for prompt generation. We're exploring different types of neural networks together and trying to understand some use cases for very different types of industry, from e-commerce to game dev. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye, everyone.